Welcome to the Business Analyst Pandit channel. My name is Ram Prashant Vishwanathan, bringing you the latest industry trends and innovation insights straight from the minds of the experts. And today I have Fabricio Laguna on our show, who is fondly known as the Brazilian BA, who is a business consultant, teacher, professional speaker, and a senior advisor to the president and CEO of IIBA, the International Institute of Business Analysis. Welcome to the show, Fabricio.
It's a pleasure to be here, Ran. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Absolutely, the pleasure is mine. It's a fanboy moment, I would say. It's been 4 years since I have been, following your work and your contribution to the business analysis. Is amazing, I would say, Fabrizio. Thank you so much for contribution, for all the contribution.
Thank you for the kind words, Ran. It's a pleasure. I have been creating some content and publishing on thebrazilianba.com, also on here on YouTube, if someone are watching us on YouTube or LinkedIn. So I have tried to engage with community, and I have joined several conferences around the world talking about business analysis, the business analysis mindset, how can we use artificial intelligence with business analysis. Those are some of the topics I have covered, and it's a pleasure to share those ideas with you, Ran.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Fabrizio. So, Fabrizio, I have an interesting topic for you today, which is the future of the business analysis in the GenAI era. And before we dive into the discussion, can you introduce about yourself for the larger viewers here?
All right. So for those who don't know me, I live in Brazil, in the city of closer to the city of São Paulo, in the suburbs, in a small city called Barueri. Maybe it may sound different from other accents. And I have worked with Brazilian companies, and from the past, I would say during COVID, I expanded my boundaries to the international community, started doing videos and content online and participating more in conferences. And that's what I have been doing from the last years. And it's been a pleasure.
Fantastic. Nice knowing you about you, Fabrizio. So Fabrizio, to begin with, how did you get started in the business analysis career, and what drew you into this profession?
Well, actually, I started as a software developer. I have a computer science bachelor degree. So I studied that on university, and I had my own company developing software for different customers. And I had a very good technical partner, but he was not very good in speaking with customers. And I started doing that job on our company. I needed to understand our customer needs, and I started engaging with them and doing some business analysis. At that point in time, it wasn't the last millennium. It wasn't called business analysis yet. It was just understanding customer needs. And during my years in my company, I studied a little more about management. I made an MBA, Management in Business Analysis course. And it didn't apply very well for my company because my company was very small, and those MBA courses are targeted to big companies. But I started understanding better my customers' needs and my customer business. So understanding business helped me to solve or to design solutions for my customers. And that's how I started doing business analysis. It wasn't called that name. I learned it very much from practice. And when I had the opportunity to meet IIBA, the BA Book Guide, and study for a certification, I saw that many things that I have been done for some while could be improved, could be more technical, could be more rational. And so I got in love with the discipline and invested on it so much. And I was the first Latin American certified business analysis professional for IIBA in 2008. And
Fantastic.
joined the chapter and stuff like that, the IIBA chapter, the IIBA community. That's my story.
Wow. Glad to know about it, actually. You started your career as a programmer, then moved yourself into this business analysis role. The life, the journey, the professional career would have underwent a lot of challenges for sure. I understand it. So, Fabrizio, I have a question for you. So when organizations are moving towards Scrum and other professional framework and methodologies, what is the future of business analysis and the business analyst?
Well, let's talk specifically about Scrum, because that's when you bring your conversation. There is a misunderstanding usually about Scrum, that Scrum is a method. Scrum is not a method, Scrum is a framework. And the
Right.
difference between a method and a framework is that a method or a methodology is something very specific and very designed, and a framework is something that's more generic, and you should adapt it for your specific situation, for your specific context, and add something to it. As Scrum, as a framework, doesn't explicitly recognize the business analyst role, a lot of people understand that the business analyst is not needed in Scrum. That's a mistake. Implicitly, although it's not explicitly, but implicitly, business analysis is the most important skill in Scrum, because you have to understand what's valuable, you have to prioritize your requirements all the time, you have to understand what should be approachable or the best way to deal, and you should adapt all the time. And these adaptations is about understanding the context, what are the options that you have, and identifying the most valuable option for that. And that's business analysis. That's what business analysis is all about. The definition of requirements, the reprioritization, and collaboration with all the stakeholders, and not just your team and your company at all. So the job function that you are applying in Scrum is irrelevant if you are a product owner, if you're a Scrum Master, a member of the development team. The fact is that the practice of business analysis is key to the success of Scrum or any other Agile initiative.
Got it. Got it. So how do you see the adoption of GenAI tools in the business analysis today?
Well, let's bring the conversation to GenAI, because that's the hot topic for today, right? And what I have perceived is that we are all using AI already. You're probably using, I see that you're probably transcribing our conversations while we are speaking using some AI tool. When you created those questions for this preparation, probably the usage of AI could enhance your creativity. So AI is incrementing our productivity very much. We are doing stuff faster using AI. It's helping us to enable our creativity and looking for things not just from the first thoughts that we have in mind, but open our ideas to a more holistic thinking. AI can help us in seeing stuff from different perspectives that we could not do alone. But these must be used with critical view. It's not just taking the AI responses and using it as an output of the business analysis work. By the contrary, the generated content from AI is the input for our analysis. So we have a new way of eliciting ideas, eliciting content, requirements, solution possibilities. We use AI as an input, we analyze, we use a critical view, and then we create our output, focusing with our critical view. So that's probably the best way we are for those using AI today to increment their productivity and the quality of their work.
Rightly said, Fabricio. And Fabricio, what are your primary drivers and challenges do you see in the largest spectrum of the BA practice?
Thinking about the BA practice, let me point just two challenges and two drivers that help us to address those challenges. First challenge, I believe that we must overcome the bubble of professional BAs that are simply working in IT area, in software development. There is a wider community of BA professionals. So I use the term professional BAs for those who have the job of business analysts they're hired as business analysts. And I use the term BA professionals for those who doesn't necessarily have this job, but are doing business analysis. And a lot of people are doing business analysis out there. We have managers, we have product owners, we have project managers, we have program managers, we have business managers. We have a lot of people looking to the business and trying to understand their needs and identify the best solution for their stakeholders. That's business analysis. We must make all those BA professionals understand the value of business analysis. And the driver for that is the current tagline of IIBA, hashtag analysis everywhere. So when we talk about analysis everywhere, we must understand that every professional should be a business analyst, independent of the job role, right? So this is
Right.
challenge number one. Challenge number two is understanding business analysis as a broader concept. You can understand business analysis different ways. Some people like to define business analysis as a role. I don't like it very much because it attaches very much to the job function. You can understand business analysis as a profession. So I can develop myself in the profession of business analysis. That's how IIBA approaches it very much during the last 2 decades. You can understand business analysis as a discipline. That's how schools should use business analysis and train people into business analysis. That's a nice one. You can understand business analysis as a process, as a service. The way I prefer to understand it, and that's a driver to approach this challenge, is understand business analysis as a mindset. I like the term mindset because you can have several mindsets in yourself and compose those mindsets. So a business analysis mindset is a business analysis that's motivated to business outcomes, not just to creating outputs, but for creating the expected outcomes of your business. And you do that not just focusing on your silo or your department, you look at that as an holistic view. You try to understand the whole for all stakeholders and use your skills to collaborate with those stakeholders to make analytical thinking. So that's the mindset that shapes the way we think, feel, and the way we act, very collaboratively and analytical.
Absolutely. I truly agree on this part of focusing on the outcome. Right. And Fabrizio, how can GenAI be used to improve the process of the requirement gathering? If I may ask.
Well, no, okay, sure. And as I told you before, when we were talking about GenAI, we should think about GenAI as an input, not as an output. I think that's the important thing. We use GenAI to bring us new ideas, to empower our creativity, and so we can still do our work. GenAI is not doing the business analysis work for us. It's a tool that we're using to make it better. I believe business analysts are great in making questions. They're kind of natural prompt engineers. So we are used to making questions and engage with stakeholders. We now have AI to make questions for AI and bring some ideas. But when you do this with a stakeholder and they bring you some ideas, you have to analyze those ideas and see if those are true or not. So my suggestion is that you create a conversation with AI and use AI to evolve your ideas incrementally. Uses AI as, let's say, a brain enhancer, something that you can have a chat and develop your ideas and use it as an extended subconscious that you can validate and evolve what you're thinking about. AI is not a substitute for you. It's an augmented version of a business analyst when you have the business analyst with AI.
Absolutely. You're right. So what do you see as the future of Gen AI in the business analysis, and how will it change the way the business analysts work?
So talking about future, we're talking about tools that are not available yet. So I believe they're coming shortly, some business analysis specialized tools. So those tools will not just be able to do what we do today with GenAI in a conversation by prompting, but they will be able to monitor our transactional business data. So when you think about our KPIs, what's happening in our business, how are our sales, our customer needs, satisfaction, everything, we'll have AIs monitoring that and bringing insights that will empower our analysis and help us make better decisions. So we will use AI as a tool for enhanced decision making. Also, we will probably be using some very specific AIs to manage our knowledge bases. So when you think about processes, business rules, systems, business structure, architecture, everything that we have today as business knowledge, that's very hard to maintain up to date. We will use AI to maintain it up to date. And when we think about an AI managing this, if I change a process, AI could change the process, and that would change also the business behavior. So changing if you think about a workflow system, when you change the process design or you change some business rules in the workflow system, that changes the real system. So we are going to use less and less programmers or coders to change business behavior, and we are going to use more AI to do that. And business analysts are the ones that are dealing with this AI. Business analysts are those who are using this AI to monitor business behaviors or business results and changing business process and business rules using AI tools to do that. I don't see those specialized tools available yet, but I believe they are going to be delivered soon. Right? There's a video on my channel call it the business analysis with AI in the year of 2000. I don't say the date because I ask my audience to predict the dates, but that's a way that I'm trying to not just predict the future, but kind of design the future and help tools vendors to develop these tools. I believe it's up to us as business analysts to design this future, right? So we are the ones who design systems for the future.
Got it. Got it. So what new skills will business analysts need to develop to effectively leverage GenAI and start to be competitive in the market, actually, if I ask you?
I don't know if they're exactly new skills because we already have them, but some skills that are now important will probably be more important in the future. I would list four. The first one is business knowledge. We must deeper business knowledge. As AI is managing business knowledge bases, we must leverage our knowledge to a higher level. We're not going to be very much documenters. We don't need that. We have tools for that will make that easier. But we have to discuss business in a higher level, in a more strategic one. So that's an important one. Second one is critical thinking. As we spoke, sometimes AI is an input, and we have to analyze and provide the output. So third one is, and that must be nice when we have the right tools for that, hypothesis and scenario testing. Today, if I want to make a test, like an MVP for me is a testing. So something that you want to validate an hypothesis and try to understand what would be the outcomes of implementing that. If we have nice tools to create scenarios in a virtual environment, we are going to be able to make several different hypothesis testing without needing to implement it on the business. We will use AI tools to run those testings. So that's another skill. The last one, I would say that as AI will empower the business, we need to guarantee that the stakeholders are collaborating and understanding what's all going on. So leadership of the stakeholders and helping stakeholders to collaborate, that's something that is an important skill of IBA, that we are always in the middle of different stakeholders trying to make them understand each other and find consensus. That's going to be even more important, or probably a key to make a competitive advancement in the market, as you said.
Understood. Interesting perspective, I would say. So one question. How can we avoid becoming overly reliant on Gen AI tools, and what are the risks of relying too much on the automation part?
All right, so got it. We must be aware about AI limitations. So AI, as we know, has a lot of bias because AI's answers are based on the data that it's being trained, And all knowledge base that you use to train AI is biased. We are biased as people, right? So we were trained and we learned it from our experience, and so we have a bias. AI also have a bias. The problem is when AI generate content and you retrain AI with the content that AI generated, those biases grows exponentially. So that's something that we must be concerned. AI sometimes when it doesn't have a good knowledge base to create an output for you, it hallucinates and it just creates something out of the crap, right? So we must be aware that about AI hallucinations. We must understand that if your AI was trained with a limited data set, that will limit the outputs. Sometimes that's something that you need, like I want AI to report me on this knowledge base, but these kind of limitations must be in the mind of business analysts. What am I getting from AI is based on the training. This training data source may be outdated, so that's something that you should be aware. And well, if you talk to data analysts or data architects about their work, they'll probably say that most part of their time they're not creating answers for business, they are just cleaning data because our data is always a mess. So if you're training your AI with bad data, you're going to get bad output. So crap in, crap out, right? So we must be very aware about these questions about how we are training our AI to make sure that the output is correct. Also, privacy data is something that we should be aware and try to figure out. As with other process for making decision making, we must design the governance structure for decisions made by AI. So in your organization, when you have a decision to change a business rule, a process, or a system, or something like that, people must engage into this as a process, and someone have to design this process. When we are using AI, some decisions, maybe you don't need people to take decisions for that. Your AI can decide. For example, we already have in São Paulo, AI taking care about traffic lights. So when it's red, green, or depending on the road to make the traffic easier, AI can take care about that and decide by itself. But can AI decide about a business rule, about the price of my products, about the policy of who is a VIP customer or not? So we must define those boundaries and define who is monitoring AI's decision. If AI cannot decide but is just suggesting some decision, who will approve that? And when AI takes a decision, who is accountable for that decision? So those are very important discussions we must define to have automation using AI.
True. Agreed on this part, actually. So, Fabrizio, how can we ensure the human element remains essential in business analysis, even as Gen AI has become more prevalent, actually?
Well, I'm not sure if that's a real issue that we should be dealing with, because when we are doing business analysis, we are trying to solve stakeholder needs, right? So we try to understand who are the stakeholders, what are their needs, what's valuable for those stakeholders, and try to figure out what's the best solution or the most valuable solution for those stakeholders. AI is not a stakeholder. AI is no human, so AI has no needs. People has needs, not technology, right? So technology might be part of the solution for stakeholder needs. If we focus on stakeholder needs, I believe the human element is always there. So that's the point. We should keep doing good business analysis. And to do good business analysis, we must understand what's valuable for our stakeholders in our context. AI may change the context. AI may change the possible solutions for attending stakeholder needs, but AI is not a stakeholder. Keep the focus on the stakeholder needs, and we are going to keep the focus on on the human elements that we should be taking care.
Rightly said. I agree on this. AI should not be a stakeholder, right? So, what are the typical career path for a business analyst, and what role can a business analyst aspire to become in the future? Actually,
Yeah, there's no single path for a business analyst. I have seen business analysts in several job functions, in several organizations working differently. You have business analysts working more in AI. Some business analysts are working more in the business side. There are some business analysts working more in the business intelligence, helping organizations to take better decisions. We have business analysts working with business architecture, trying to understand the structure of our organization. So there are several job functions that are doing business analysis that, in my understanding, are business analysis professionals, not necessarily as professional business analysts. So I believe for a business analyst, anyone, you should aim to be a business leader and still be a business analyst. I would say that the top business analyst of an organization is the CEO. He is the one who should be worried about what's valuable for the stakeholders, what are the needs of those stakeholders, and what's the most valuable solution for them. They're probably working in a more strategic view of business analysis. There are some business analysts who are working more operational stuff or doing projects, but they're always doing business analysis in different layers. So if you're looking for a career path, try to be a leader in your business. Try to make more impactful changes in the business, focusing on business outcomes, and that's going to make your career path.
absolutely, that's a good piece of advice which you have shared with young audience as well. Actually, Fabrizio, thank you so much for taking time to share your insights and for the engaging conversation. And I wish you all the best, and I look forward to connecting with you in another episode. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure, Ram. Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.